So let's recap what we got here. So I'm just going to talk through it. So first of all, transformations. We're going to take one function, change it to a different function. We could do these, and a lot of times we don't have to go through all the rigmarole of all of our graphing before, because we know what one looks like. We could just use it and make this, have descriptions and other things and predictions from there. So anyways, so for these first ones, we've got three graphs: x squared, the quantity x minus 1 squared, and x minus 3. Well, here's x squared right here. That's our basic, our original function. Here's x minus 1 quantity squared, x minus 3. So what happens? What happened to this one here, the x squared, to get x squared minus 1? Well, it looks like it went from 0 to the right 1 unit. Well, that's exactly what happened. How about x minus 3 quantity squared? Let's start it here for x squared. It's now moved over here 3 units to the right. So 1, 2, 3 units to the right, we draw the same thing. It's the same exact graph, but just move, shifted over. So let's take a look at these three graphs. X squared, x plus 2 quantity squared, x plus 4. So x squared's here, x plus 2, x plus 4 quantity squared, that is, on both of those. So again, don't worry about how I graph those. I graphed them however I did. Don't worry about that right now. Just looking at, there's where the graph becomes. Well, notice the x plus 2 quantity squared is the same graph, just shifted over to negative 2. The x plus 4 quantity squared shifted over to the left to negative 4. And that's what we have here. So this was left 2 spaces, left 4 spaces. How did we get left and 4? Negative 2, negative 4. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, so using what we did up here, so x plus 1, what happens? Well, the ones where it was x plus 2 and x plus 4 quantity squared, we moved them to the left, whatever that number was. Well, so this was left 1 space. The x minus 3 and the x minus 1 quantity squares were to the right, that number of spaces. So this is to the right, 4 spaces. Now, one way to look at this is to note what makes this inside x plus 1 equal to 0. Negative 1. And where's negative 1? 1 space left. How about here? What makes x minus 4 equal to 0? Right, positive 4. So 4 spaces to the right. So what about h? Since we don't know what h is, we'll just say to the right h units, kind of thing. Okay, so now to sketch the graph, if we know what the transformation is, all we got to do is move the points. So the x minus 5 quantity squared from x squared. Well, here's x squared. What did we do? Well, again, what's the transformation? What makes the inside 0? Exactly, 5. So we're going to move it to the right to the positive 5. So here's the original graph. Every point, so I'm just going to copy that point over here, that one there, and all these other ones. So I'm going to copy this parabola over here. So the vertex, instead of being at 0, 0, is at 5, 0. And everything else is just like I said. Everything just copies it in the new place. That's all we're doing. That's the advantage to this. So now we don't have to try those whole bunch of those different points and stuff. So we can look at this and say, well, I know this is 5 units to the right, so the vertex is 5 instead of 0, comma 0. Done. Okay. And so the general rule to translate is just that. This is what it looks like. And again, horizontally, h units. Why is it horizontal? Notice it is tied directly to the x. So to shift the new function, whichever function happens to be absolute value, right 4 spaces. So x minus, since it's right 4, we think positive 4. X minus 4. Left 2 spaces. Left 2, well, what's 2 units to the left? What number? Left of 0, that is. Negative 2, so x minus a negative 2. Well, we know what minus a negative 2 happens to be. X plus 2 inside of that absolute value. Left 4, so what numbers? 4 spaces to the, 7 spaces to the left of 0. That's right, negative 7. So the absolute value of x minus negative 7. Well, we know what minus a negative again turns into this. So this works for any function, whether it's the absolute value, whether it's a square root, cube root, squares like we had here, even exponentials, even a strange step function, even just a general function, f of x, that doesn't look like what we've seen before. So again, x minus that value, wherever we want to move it to, positive or negative. If we know where we're moving it, we just physically move it. Everything else looks the same. Alrighty, so try the practice. Again, you've tried to practice. Maybe go back and look at it in this new view, okay?